Hey everyone, thank you for joining. Hey Tiny, we are doing Instagram Live tonight with a health insurance advisor. Her name is Parita Patel. She is a health insurance advisor for private health insurance, and she's gonna be telling us everything we need to know about health insurance as a traveler. You're not gonna want pain points as a traveler. It's going to be a lot of fun, and she's very knowledgeable. So, any questions you have about health insurance during traveling, feel free to put in the comments below. Hey,
Hi. I'm really excited for this conversation.
me too, me too.
Just because I feel like health insurance is like that one of the few things that's so confusing for travelers. Hey, Farida.
Hey, Priya.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are
Good. How are
you?
you?
Good. I'm excited to be here. Have fun.
Yes. We're so grateful for you to be here.
Thank you.
Do you want to just start with introductions? Introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I do this on a regular basis, so this is just normal world for me. But so I am a health insurance advisor, and it's not something I ever thought I would be doing with my life because you asked me a year ago what health insurance was, and I would tell you I have no idea. So I've come a long way, but it is something that's really important to me now just because I understand how important it is. It's if we are nothing without our health. That's my number one phrase in literally everything about this. So, but my main job is to help people find the best possible options for them and put them in the right direction based on what their needs are, and try to educate as much as I can because they don't teach us enough about this stuff in the world. So that's kind of what I do. Yeah.
Awesome. We know you have some connection to the travel community. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so my very first client was actually a nurse who I just kind of came across. After we went through a lot of different options for her and we found her a private plan that she was, healthy enough to qualify for, the really cool thing was when she got all of the information and actually used her insurance, she reached out to me and she was like, Parita, this is the best thing I've ever had, and I've been in this world for almost 50 years now. She's like, you need to find more people because they need you. And she started texting me different agencies. She started just begging me to get the word out. And I didn't know how to do that. So I went onto social media. And obviously, easy enough, there's tons of you out there. So I figured it might be a great way for me to find people that I can help. So I kind of made that my mission where I'm like, okay, the travel community, there's a lot of you. I didn't even realize how many actual healthcare professionals were travelers. So for me, being able to meet with everybody, I found you guys, I found a couple other people, and slowly but surely I've built up my client base, and I would say 99% of them are all travelers. So I didn't expect it to happen. It just kind of happened, but since then I feel like it's meant to be. So that's kind of the direction I went in full force.
For sure. I definitely think as travelers, like we love flexibility and freedom. And in that, we want to work with different agencies and stuff, but we still want to have health insurance. So I love that this, that we're collaborating with you and that this exists, because I think that's one of the most stressful things is like, oh, I don't want to change to another company because I don't want to lose my health insurance, or I want to take time off, but it won't cover for me. So yeah, I love all this.
Yeah, it's funny. That's probably the number one concern that I hear, and I hear it so frequently now that I'm very familiar with all the pain points for insurance in your world. And I always say to my clients, I'm like, you shouldn't have to base your vacations off of whether you're going to have insurance or not. That shouldn't be a deciding factor. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that's great about private is you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah,
For
totally
sure.
agree. I guess we'll start from the beginning, if that's okay with you. What type of insurance options do we have as travelers?
Absolutely. I mean, the world is your oyster when it comes to insurance. There's hundreds and hundreds of plans out there, but based on what I've learned from everybody in the traveling world, the most important things is the flexibility, not having to find new coverage every time you switch states. With that being said, you really want to look for what's known as a PPO plan. PPO really means it's a preferred provider, and you want to find nationwide coverage because most of these other plans, especially what's available in Obamacare, those are all limiting your coverage to your zip code and your county. So if you see a doctor that's fine at that time. But the minute you get out of that zip code, which is what, a 5-mile radius, essentially your insurance isn't really going to take care of you anymore. So then every time you move, you would have to find something different. Anytime you cross borders, you have to find something different. So for travelers, the best thing you can find is that nationwide PPO plan. So there are some available depending where you are, like if you were to look in Obamacare, but for the most part, private makes the most sense because then you get to take it with you wherever you go. Most of my clients, when they switch to private, you never really have to worry about insurance again, which is pretty nice. But I mean, there are other options there. Obviously, you have availability through your agency. I know that's something that we talked about, that you do usually get offered an option, but what that means is you're stuck with either that agency, right? Or if you decide to switch agencies, then you're going to have to deal with finding something new. Or taking what they may or may not give you. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, not all agencies actually offer insurance. Is that true?
Yep. Yeah, 100% true. Some, and if they do offer it, it might not even start day one. So you have to wait like a month into your contract till it kicks in, which can be dangerous in certain times, especially during COVID. When we were working on the front lines, it's like, okay, I don't have insurance 30 days into this. What if I get COVID? What if I get hospitalized, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a scary feeling.
Yeah, definitely. And so with insurance, everybody thinks that you're very limited to when you can sign up for insurance because of the open enrollment. You know, I think that one phrase is fairly common. It was nice of the Biden administration to open up another open enrollment period this year. I think they did that mostly because of COVID. But private insurance actually can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be during open enrollment. It could be at any time. So that's kind of nice. You have that flexibility. But with open enrollment, so I mean, there's 4 different ways you can get insurance, right? You've got the Obamacare options. So we're looking at mostly HMO plans, EPO plans, which stands for Exclusive Provider Organization. So that's Obamacare, also known as the Marketplace. I don't know if eventually they're going to start calling it Biden Care. I don't know. They change the name every year, I guess. So that's one option. Obviously, private is another option. There's things like short-term plans, which is something that a lot of travelers use in between contracts. And that is an option if you really are just looking for something for a couple weeks. It's not something that I really recommend unless it's literally for a couple weeks. But if you want something more than that, more than not, I've seen it leave my clients financially, medically exposed because they do very little to actually protect you. So short-term plans, try to avoid those if you can, unless it really, really makes sense for you. And then there's also a lot of different kinds of insurance. You've got like limited benefit plans. You've got like the group, what's it called? The ministry plans. They're like health share plans. And all of those, they exist for a reason. They might be good for the right person, but they're not all full major medical comprehensive coverage. They're not really meant to do what insurance is supposed to do. So usually Obamacare makes more sense if you're needing major medical, and then private makes sense if you're pretty healthy and you're not dealing with something big on a daily basis, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for breaking that down. I feel like it's always like all these terms are always just like circling around and floating around, and we're always just like, what does it all mean?
I know.
Yeah, you think we'd know working in the healthcare field, but we have no idea about insurances.
You would think by now that we would have had this whole thing figured out in America, but we're still working on it, you know, and then they change things every year as well, and that doesn't help. But I know that they're trying to make their way towards that universal coverage that we're all looking for.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, one thing I like to do whenever I talk to clients, no matter if, you know, they're ready for making a switch to private or not, I really just want to make sure that I share as much as possible. If at some point in life, you know, they're not with me anymore, I just want to make sure people know what good coverage looks like, you know, so which could bring us maybe to another question of like, you know, what are all those terms when you're looking for health insurance? If you guys mind, I'll just go right into that.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
So there's a couple big words you want to look out for. Obviously, we're all trying to save money here. People are spending a fortune. Like, I don't know how we're able to exist the way we do when every expense just adds up and adds up and adds up. And health insurance today is so expensive. I've seen people, I had a family of 3 that their travel agency had them paying $500 a week. A week.
A week. Oh my God. Who can
Wow.
afford that?
Nobody.
Oh my God.
Believe it. Like,
No.
that's how you rob people, you know, and especially a healthy family, they don't need to spend, that's a mortgage, you know.
Yeah.
So health insurance, it can be very expensive, so it's really important to shop options, which is nice because that's one thing I'll do with you. I'll make sure to shop all the options, that way you know exactly what's available to you. But so obviously monthly premium, that's one thing to look out for, and then you want to look at what that deductible is. Right? Deductible means what you have to pay before your insurance actually covers you. Okay, so usually for a single person, it's anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 a year. And even if you start paying your bills and you start actually eating some of that deductible, it resets every year. So that's tough too, because then you're paying full price for everything until you hit your deductible. So if you want to go say hi to the doctor, that's $200 just to say hi.
Right.
You know, even if nothing comes out of it. So you want to look out for a deductible that's not completely ridiculous. So 8,000 to me, when you're paying a couple $100 a month, is on the more expensive side. And then you want to look out for copays. So if you're paying a monthly premium, if you're paying full price for a deductible, why should you be paying copays on top of that as well? You know, so that's something that's important to look out for, because those are the three ways that you're going to see exactly where your money is going for insurance. There's a lot of fine print. So I had somebody today that probably asked me like 50 questions and they kept apologizing, and I'm like, no, this is good. Like, you need to understand, because otherwise you're going to get hit with a bill and then you're going to be like, I don't want to pay this. Like, what do you mean I have to pay $2,000 for blood work? Like, it's a scary thought. So people really should ask questions. You should look at the fine print. Make sure that if you do work with some what's it called, an insurance agent, that you are seeing their license, because there's fake insurance out there these days too, which is a scary thought.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the world we live in, I guess.
That's scary. Now, you had mentioned earlier that the nationwide PPO is probably the best for travelers. Is everyone eligible for that, even, or are certain states excluded? Someone asked on the chat what they should do in Washington State. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's really tough because we are limited based on where you are. I know a lot of people are moving around every couple of months. So what's nice about that is the coverage goes with you no matter where you go, right? But if you are going to be moving to a new location in a few months, then by all means, make sure that there's an option there for you for private. Washington, so I would say I can never do maps. So the Northeast, right? So tri-state area, New York, all of that area, they have very strict rules when it comes to insurance. They want you to buy their state's insurance, right? The West Coast, so California all the way up, so including Washington, yeah, they've got a lot of rules too. I have this like map that shows all of the locations that are okay for private. So that's usually something that I share with people. So, you know, there's ways around it if it is really, really important, but usually what it comes down to is, you know, they just want to make sure that wherever you go, your doctors are in network, because that's how your money's going to stretch the furthest. If you go out of network, things are almost like 5-10 times the cost. So if you're in a state where things aren't in network, then it might not make sense for you. But if there is something that is available, obviously when I speak with somebody, we look at their situation, we figure out, okay, what are our options? Do you have a home base that's not in Washington? And you know, if that's your home and that's where your doctors are, cool, we're going to go there. Will they accept your insurance in Washington? Yes. But you obviously, if you don't live there long term, then they'll cover you for the time that you're there. I hope that answers the question. Yeah. There's options, but yes, there are states that have a lot of restrictions. I'm not going to deny that.
Got it.
Yeah, and what we love about you is that you are very particular when you consult with people, and you give them all the options laid out, and you take time. I feel like most health insurance agents are like, okay, 30 minutes is up, gotta go. But
yeah,
you're very thorough and looking at all the options.
Yeah.
And what about supplemental coverages? Any other coverages you'd recommend getting as a traveler?
Yeah, so I know that a lot of plans that I work with have things like accident protection, which it's not just car specific, it could be any kind of accident. So I've seen that do wonders for people because usually it's more than enough coverage to take care of something like a broken limb, or you fall off a ladder and something happens. Obviously, that's really nice. The fact that you have this supplemental coverage. Telemedicine is huge these days, so it's nice to have plans that include that telemedicine, because if you don't have to go visit a doctor, you just want to call and double check everything's okay. I mean, why not save that trip, save your time, avoid sick people if you can. So telemedicine is something that's really big. A lot of my travelers also do short-term disability, which is something kind of like an income protection is what they call it. So that's also something that we can add, basically, where they pay out a dollar amount every month for up to a year in case, God forbid, something actually happens and you can't work. So that's a really good one. And then there's things like critical illness. We can obviously add dental, vision if it makes sense for the client. My main job when I do talk to somebody, how can I save you money and still keep you as protected as humanly possible? Because there's a way to add and build up policies, but if it doesn't make sense for you, then why would people spend extra money if they don't need it? So I know dental insurance is something that I don't love. I don't really push a lot of dental insurance on people. My recommendation is actually that people get their dental insurance through their agency if you're needing some dental work done, because it ends up being like $3-4 a week, which to me, not bad for dental coverage.
Right.
But
there's that a lot short-term disability, that means a lot, because when I did assignment on Maui, I broke my foot, and through Hawaii state wouldn't pay me disability, neither would California, because I lived in Hawaii. So that whole time I recovered for 6 months, I didn't get a paycheck.
Oh my God.
So even if it's like a dollar a month or whatever you said, like, it's definitely worth the investment, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen it do wonders for people, and that's why it's like on this side, and I see the claims come through, I see the things, I see the bills that people get, and so I know what happens. And the thing is, you don't plan to be in the hospital. Nobody plans that. So if it happens, you want to make sure you have insurance that's actually going to protect you. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's crazy.
That's all right. Happens.
Yeah, you're like, I know. It's good.
Lesson learned. Cool.
Yeah.
So how much does the insurance usually cost per month? I guess that is pretty varied depending on how healthy you are, your age group, and any of, but typically for someone who's a single healthy person, how much would that be?
Yeah, so insurance is based on a couple of things. So if you're looking at Obamacare, they're looking at your age and your income. Those are the two things that determine what you would be paying. Basically, if you're a bigger family and you've got maybe a limited salary, then essentially they're going to give you discounts on your health insurance. So that's nice for some people, great. If you end up making more money come tax season, then you're going to have to pay that discount back. And that's happened to me before, and that sucked. And that wasn't fun. So it's tough because I know travelers, you guys are getting different contracts every few months. So your pay is really, there's no definite amount for the year. So I had someone recently who said that they were having to pay back, $300 a month to the government because of what their Obamacare plan had. So that's what Obamacare is based on. On the private side, it is based on your age and then if you're healthy, because you do have to qualify for private insurance. If you have a lot of pre-existing conditions, it doesn't necessarily make sense for you to be on a private plan because you're probably needing a lot of ongoing treatment and a lot of ongoing care. So private is really meant for your healthy people that don't have major medical needs, things like that. The coverage is still the best I've ever seen, and I've seen hundreds of plans. So it's not that. It's more just so does it make sense for you. But so that's based on age and gender. So one thing that always surprises people is the fact that us ladies, insurance is more expensive for us. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, literally, if you have a guy and a girl the exact same age, it's going to be almost $100 more for the girl.
Is it because we have to go to OBGYNs and stuff? Is that why?
I mean, there's nowhere where it's written why or how they came up with that. But yeah, I guess earlier years, there's more that could maybe go wrong with us ladies because we're, hormones and I don't know, rude.
You think us guys, being reckless, would be way higher, but I know car insurance were higher, I believe.
That's true, yeah.
Wow.
For what it's worth, after 50, it becomes more expensive for the guys. So
we'll take
Interesting.
it. But I say to my clients on the phone, I'm like, listen, the only way I can make this cheaper is if I'm reversing your age or changing who you are, and I don't have power to do either of those. So
Right.
yeah. But so to answer your original question of how much does insurance cost? So I'm 31 years old. So anybody, if you're looking at a female between ages 25 and let's say up to 40, I would say standard range for good insurance is anywhere from like $300 to $400 a month. And that's still up there. I know that that's true. But I've also heard that a lot of agencies take out like $150 a week from paychecks and things like that. So I know that that's something that people need to look at, because you don't even know how much your insurance probably is unless you're looking at your pay stubs.
Right.
But for a male same age, you're looking at around $250 to $300, and then it does go up from there. So the older you get, the more risky you are for the insurance company to, take care of, basically. So then as you get older, you see those prices go higher and higher. I would say by the time we're, in our late 50s, 60s, hopefully we have enough saved, because health insurance gets pretty expensive by then. I'm talking about like $600 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oof.
I know.
Things to look forward to.
I know. Add more bills to our life. We all wanted to grow up so fast.
Right.
All they're doing is hitting us with more bills and saying, now you're old, pay us money.
Right.
And the thing on top of that is, like, some agencies offer insurance, but it's not good insurance. Like, your deductible could be super high, your copays are super high. So it's really important to look into those things, correct? And I mean,
Exactly.
You talked about this a little bit, but should we be taking health insurance with our recruiting companies? What should we be looking for if we do?
Yeah, I definitely think those big numbers are what you want to consider. If they're pulling out $100 a week, that better be the best insurance you've ever seen. And good insurance is something that doesn't have a crazy deductible, that does have a good network. So, obviously you have doctors that you can actually see, and shouldn't have a ton of copays either. And one thing that I plan to be doing with any of my MedVenture clients that I get to work with, I'm definitely going to offer a lot of like free policy reviews. Let me look at the plan with you, send me what you've got and let's compare it. Let's look at them side by side. I'll point out what's good. I'll point out what's bad. I've done that before, and I've told the clients, like, listen, you guys have a really good plan. You probably should keep this if you can. And then if you switch contracts and we're moving someplace else, let's talk then. If it doesn't make sense for you now, we'll talk in the future, no problem. But yeah, it's really important to make sure that you are looking at whatever you can side by side. And if you don't know what to look for, that's why you call me, because I'm obviously going to point out the stuff for you, because they don't make those brochures very user friendly. They do not.
Yeah, so true. Well, I mean, I love like how transparent you are, and the fact that you like advocate for the best in our interests. Like, I love that, because I feel like, especially with insurance, I'm like, who's trying to scam me now?
So true. Yeah, I know. I feel like it's been labeled in like the sleazy salespeople like side, and that's true. I've seen it happen. I remember my dad yelling at people over the phone on a regular basis because people are just blowing him up about insurance and things like that. So the nice thing is, obviously that's not what I'm going to be doing. I just want to, I never thought I would be in insurance, but it's nice to be in, like, I'm not in the medical field, but I'm at least helping people with their health in one capacity or another, and that's really important to me. That's why I actually find this job to be very fulfilling, because I get to actually help people like manage their health well. Like, I had somebody who called me the other day and they said, Parita, like, my doctor said I needed this steroid for my eye, for like eye drops. And it's $425 for these eye drops. And I was like, no, we are not paying that. That is nuts. So I went online, I did some research, we found a $25 coupon, and that's it. There's $300 or $400 that you get to save in your pocket. So like, I don't want people to be ripped off by some of these things, because like I said, I don't think we've got this whole thing figured out. Insurance, the healthcare system, like, I was on the phone with someone's doctor today, just trying to figure out for them what's going to be the price of their visit. That's all they wanted to know. And so I'm on the phone with them, I'm giving them all the information, and they're like, we just don't have an answer for you because it depends on what goes on. And I'm like, okay, well, we can't even figure out where people's money is going, and everybody works so hard for their money, so you should be keeping as much of it as you can.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're not just signing them off for health insurance and letting them go. It's an ongoing
No.
relationship, right? So
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you want to like explain your services and what you do offer?
Absolutely, yeah. So whether they end up moving forward with me as their agent or not, my biggest thing is I want people to be in the best position. So when I first work with them, I usually set aside, we do a full appointment. So I confirm with them the day before, like, I'm trying to do this the right way. And first I'll pull up all of their options. So I need to know, your zip code, your birthday, and then we talk about income because we're going to look at what's available in Obamacare. And I'm doing all of this virtually on a screen share. So you're actually physically looking at my computer and we're walking through everything together. And then I get to show you, like, these are the plans that are here. This is what I think is good. This is what I don't think is good. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We kind of navigate through all of the plans together. And then if they are able to qualify for a health-based plan, because again, some people unfortunately can't, but if they are able to qualify, then I'm definitely going to show them those options. And if the price is right, if the coverage is right, and again, we walk through the plan, they get a copy of everything from me as well. But if it does what they want it to do for them and their whole family, we apply and we see if we can get them approved. The thing about private is there's no guarantee, but I tell them from the beginning, I'm like, listen, if you sign up, if we get you approved, I'm here whenever you need me. I set aside a specific number of hours every single day for things like customer service, making sure that if you get a bill that doesn't make sense, that we go back and revisit. I'm definitely going to be negotiating on behalf of some of my clients for some of these bills. Like, excuse me, they are not paying this. I have to put my hard ass hat on because sometimes you can get a better price, and then why not ask for it? So yeah, so customer service to me is really important. I feel like my clients are my friends because nobody wants to talk about insurance. Nobody likes this stuff. So hopefully if you work with me, it's not so painful. And then, yeah, anything they need in the future, if they need new doctors, things like that, I'm happy to help them figure all that stuff out. So customer service is big. And then worst case scenario, say we apply for private and it doesn't work out and you don't get approved. I'm not going to leave anybody high and dry. I have alternative options. We've got backup plans. I've got colleagues with access to different things. I'm going to make sure we put you in the right direction. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if we explicitly said this, but we do work with Parita. So if you are looking for insurance and you are shopping around, we have a partnership with her under our website, and it's under the Traveler Resources tab. And if you sign up with her and you mention MedVenture, you will get a free consultation as well as a gift card. So, and clearly from this live, you've seen how knowledgeable and approachable she is. And I think that's the best part about all of it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. Like I said, it feels like I'm just hanging out with people over the phone. And yeah, we happen to talk about insurance here and there. I'll throw in a couple jokes, try to get a few laughs out of you. And hopefully I can help put people in the best possible position. Like I said, everybody should have some insurance. I've had a lot of people come my way that, maybe don't have any and terrifies me and scares me half to death. But like I said, we don't plan for things to happen to us. So if we're going to do it, let's go about it the right way. So. Well,
thank you so much for helping our community. You're doing great things for travel nurses, travel therapists, like all the travel community. We can't wait to watch you grow, and hopefully some MedVenture users go your way.
Yeah, I can't wait to help. Let me know.
All right.
Thanks
so
much
for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.